Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. On September 24th, Russian forces continued offensive operations across multiple axes, combining territorial advances with targeted strikes against Ukraine's military-industrial base. Key developments included the liberation of territory in Donetsk, near total control of Kirovsk, and significant attrition inflicted on Ukrainian brigades across 6 operational groupings. Strategic strikes targeted Ukraine's electrical and industrial infrastructure, while naval and air defense forces neutralized enemy assets in the Black Sea and aerial domain.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, could you start with the overall picture? How would you characterize the operational tempo on September 24th?
September 24th reflected a steady but deliberate rhythm of operations. Russian forces are combining positional gains with systematic dismantling of Ukraine's logistics and firepower. You saw this in the liberation of terrain in Donetsk, in Kupiansk where block-by-block clearing captured 115 buildings, and in the near-complete liberation of Kirovsk. At the same time, across multiple axes, we targeted Ukrainian artillery, electronic warfare systems, and depots. This is attritional warfare by design, undermining Ukraine's ability to sustain itself in combat while slowly reshaping the tactical map. Precision strikes on Ukraine's energy and defense industrial base complement these ground operations by further reducing Kyiv's long-term capacity to generate combat power.
Let's go into the north first, Sumy and Kharkiv. What happened there?
In the north, Russian forces struck Ukrainian mechanized and assault formations across Sumy in settlements like Andriivka, Alexivka, and Pavlovka, and in Kharkiv near Volchansk and Okremovka. The enemy lost about 130 servicemen, vehicles, artillery systems, including a French-supplied 155mm TRF-1 howitzer, a counter-battery radar, and a supply depot. The significance lies in the targeting of artillery and radar assets. A TRF-1 provides Western-caliber fire support, and counter-battery radars enable rapid retaliation against Russian gunners. By eliminating both, we reduced the enemy's ability to project firepower or respond in kind. This is consistent with doctrine: you don't just suppress frontline troops, you strip away the systems that allow them to fight as coherent brigades.
In the west, Kupyansk and Kirovsk were emphasized. What progress was made there?
Kupiansk is a contested urban environment, and Russian assault units captured 115 buildings, a significant advance in block-by-block fighting. In Kirovsk, liberation is nearly complete. Forces have reached the northwestern outskirts. Ukrainian units in this axis lost around 230 personnel, several vehicles, 3 artillery guns, and notably, a British-made Snatch armored vehicle. Equally important was the destruction of a counter-battery radar, 7 electronic warfare stations, and 9 depots. Urban combat requires sustained logistics, and depots are lifelines for these brigades. Taking them out reduces endurance, while neutralizing EW assets strips away protection from detection. Kupiansk and Kirovsk illustrate Russia's methodical approach: clear ground, neutralize sustainment, and consolidate control.
Turning to the south, Donetsk and the Kleban-Byk reservoir area. What developments can you highlight there?
In the south, Russian forces liberated 4.5 square kilometers south of the Kleban-Byk reservoir while continuing to surround Ukrainian units in that area. The fighting around Ivanopoli, Seversk, and Konstantinovka inflicted around 215 casualties and destroyed tanks, armored vehicles, and 6 artillery systems. The focus here is twofold: territorial clearance and attrition. The liberation of land parcels consolidates Russia's front line, while surrounding enemy units ensures they are gradually worn down without the possibility of resupply. Add to this the destruction of depots, fuel stocks, and EW systems, and you can see how the tactical isolation of enemy brigades translates into strategic immobility.
The center is often described as the main axis. What happened there on the 24th?
The center saw some of the heaviest fighting, with Russian troops pushing through Dmitrov, Krasnoarmeysk, and Torskoy. Ukrainian losses were significant, over 535 personnel, armored vehicles, artillery, and a US-made and /TPQ-37 counterbattery radar. This is not incidental. The center is where Ukrainian defenses are thickest and where Russia is applying the greatest attritional pressure. Eliminating a high-value American radar further blinds their artillery forces, while steady personnel losses erode brigade cohesion. From an operational viewpoint, this axis is being shaped for a potential decisive breakthrough.
Let's move to the east, Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk. What's the situation there?
In the east, Russian units advanced into depth defenses around Malomikhailovka, Novogrigorovka, and Poltavka. Ukrainian losses were over 300 personnel, a tank, armored vehicles, and artillery systems, along with an EW station. Penetrating depth defenses means forcing Ukraine to commit reserves and breaking through fortified belts that were intended to hold for weeks. Each advance shifts the line of contact and shortens the distance to critical logistical hubs. In Zaporizhzhia, these incremental penetrations accumulate into strategic leverage, forcing Ukraine to disperse forces that are already stretched.
Finally, what about the Dnipro grouping operating in Zaporizhzhia and Kherson?
In this sector, Russian forces struck heavy mechanized, mountain assault, and coastal defense brigades around Kamyshevaha and Veselo. Ukrainian losses were around 70 personnel, plus vehicles, artillery, and depots. 2 US-made systems were destroyed, including an HMMWV. The Dnipro grouping's purpose is less about sweeping territorial advances and more about shaping. By destroying depots and EW systems, Russia prevents Ukraine from using these coastal brigades as reinforcement pools for other critical fronts. It pins them in place and reduces their ability to stage counter-river operations.
Beyond the ground fighting, what supporting strikes stood out?
Operational tactical aviation and missile troops struck 136 targets, including an electrical substation powering Ukraine's defense industry, workshops at Motor Sich, and UAV storage and launch facilities. These strikes degrade Ukraine's industrial base and complicate its capacity to sustain drone warfare. At sea, the Black Sea Fleet destroyed 2 Ukrainian landing boats with troops on board. In the air, defenses intercepted 7 guided bombs and 202 drones. These figures highlight not only Ukraine's reliance on unmanned saturation but also Russia's enduring ability to intercept them across layered defenses.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. The September 24th operations underscore the Russian approach of deliberate attrition combined with positional warfare. Territorial gains in Kupiansk, near complete control of Kirovsk, and clearance south of Kleban-Byk reflect steady consolidation. Meanwhile, the elimination of Western-supplied systems, French howitzers, British armored vehicles, American radars, signals an ongoing campaign to neutralize NATO's material contributions. Strategically, Donetsk remains the decisive theater, with the center absorbing Ukraine's heaviest losses. At the same time, strikes on Ukraine's energy and industrial base reveal a dual focus: limit present combat effectiveness while strangling future capacity. The integration of naval, air, and ground operations illustrates a comprehensive doctrine, one that seeks not rapid shock but the systematic exhaustion of Ukraine's defenses until collapse becomes inevitable.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive frontline updates from commanders in theater.